Hey, I'm Doug. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about Panzer, the game from GMT. It's World War II tank battles. This is specifically on the Eastern Front, but the later expansions get into the Western Front too, and the early war as well. One of the things people seem to be having some trouble with in this game is the spotting rules. And I kind of want to cover this in a cohesive fashion rather than the piecemeal way it's presented in the rules because nobody seems to get it. So here's my shot at explaining this to you. Spotting is in this game, you being able to see a unit does not mean it can see you and vice versa. These are tanks, they're firing individual shells, they're going to have to lob these things at a specific point on the map. They're not just shooting a bunch of bullets in the air and hoping it hits something, which is what most of the general purpose fire is. This is much more purpose built and kind of the core of the game, so that's why the spotting rules are here. Basically, spotting is just like line of sight, except it's whether or not you can see a specific unit. In the basic game, which is all I'm going to talk about, that means that you're worrying about some basic things. We use, for spotting ranges for the basic game, we use the V column, which is the vehicular column. We always start with the base of 0. That's a unit in a clear hex with a clear line of sight is firing. Another unit can see it at up to 20 hexes away. Under certain types of cover, that drops. You can see how that goes. Light cover will put it to 10. Medium cover drops it by 2. Now it's a 7 hexes away. Heavy cover drops it by 3 levels. Now it's down to 3 hexes away. These light woods here, or these are not light woods, I'm sorry, these are woods. The light woods look like orchards. In the woods, those have a medium cover, so that means that this unit can be seen from 7 hexes away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Both of these units can see them. If, move this around a little bit, that unit's actually there. 4, 5, 6, 7. He cannot spot this unit. Okay? Regular line of sight applies. This guy's over here. He also can't spot the unit. There's a hill in the way. But it's important to note that this guy can see him and him, but right now, only he can spot him. This is important because when we want to put our orders down on these units, we're going to want to put down fire orders only on units that have been able to spot a enemy unit. If they can't see anything, they can't issue a fire order, and they can't issue a short halt order. So this unit could only get a move order or a no command order. It could also get an overwatch order if it wanted to fire later in the turn, but that's very different from the fire and the short halt orders. This guy could get any of the orders because he can spot the unit. Okay? Now, that is the one reason why you have a spotting phase, is it gives you a specific time you can do that. It's important to note, just because this guy spotted this guy during the spotting phase does not mean that when he fires, he has to fire at somebody he was able to spot in the spotting phase. It means he has to be able to fire at somebody he can spot. It's entirely possible that guy may not be there anymore. This guy may have blown up. Who knows? But he can't fire can't put a fire order down unless he has a spotting. All right, now once we do a fire order or a move order, as soon as you do a fire order, you're going to place a fire marker on the unit. That's going to be a spotting marker, and remember we saw some of those here just a second ago. That means when you put a spot fire on, that means it's going to increase the range people can see you. Muzzle flash, kaboom, all that sort of stuff. So a fire adds 3. If you started at 20, that means 40 hexes away you can be seen. If you're in medium cover at a -2 and you fire, now you can be seen at 30 hexes. So it's actually it's more than quadrupled the range at which people can see you. Moving is a little bit better than spotting for whoever's doing the moving, partly because they're moving and it's harder to see them. And you're not quite sure where they were, but when they fire, you know exactly where they are. And that's much more important for firing a shell. Let's say this guy has a short halt order. He does his fire. Now it's time for him to move. We take the fire counter off. We put the move counter on. One of these is going to stay with that unit until this unit is no longer seen by any enemy units. And then in the spotting phase, that is when you would remove this counter. That's it. That's really spotting in a nutshell. There's a whole lot of stuff about, what if you got a move counter and you got a fire command, and now you have a fire order, and so we're going to put it under the fire command so that we know that it changed. And the only reason you're doing that is because the fire counter has a higher value. This is a courtesy only. It's laid out like it's some sort of game rule, but it's really just a courtesy mnemonic for you to remember how this works. So anytime you do fire with overwatch, fire, short halt, you're going to place a fire marker. You got the short halt, starts out as fire. When you get to the move phase, switches to move. This guy moves in here. Now he's going to have a move marker put on him. He can get seen. Now he's going to be up to, so now he can be seen from 20 hexes away because he's been moving and somebody saw him go into the woods. That's it. Hope that's helpful. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments.